Alright everybody, I am back once again, and this time I'm going to do the the 5 best, the 5 worst, and the 5 steal choices from the 2018 draft. Now, I was going to do 10 and 10, but then I thought about the steals of the draft, and then I said, hey, why not? So I'm going to do 5, 5, and 5. And we're going to do this we're going to do this 5 to 1. So we're going to break it down. I'm going to start with the worst picks of the 2018 draft. Let's get into this, everybody. Here we go. So I'm talking number 5 on the list. I'm talking top 20 pick here. The Minnesota Timberwolves took Josh Okogie. Now, here's the thing. We know that they needed a point guard. Reasonably speaking, they knew Aaron Holiday was still available. He still was available, but they decided to go elsewhere. With Josh Okogie as point guard of the future, I disagreed. I would have taken Aaron Holiday and been done with it. That was probably one of the worst picks I saw this year. The next pick, another point guard choice, Elie Okobo, Phoenix. So Phoenix wants to sit there and say, okay, we're giving the ball to Devin. That's basically what they're doing. Elie Okobo was good overseas at times. He didn't play well every time. Reasonably speaking, though, you're telling me that Elie Okobo is going to be better than Jalen Brunson, than Jevon Carter, than Devontae Graham. He's going to be better than all three? Doubtful. Doubtful completely. And here is why. Because Jalen Brunson proved himself. Jevon Carter proved himself. Devontae Graham proved himself over and over and over. You need a stable point guard. And I would have, out of the three that I named, Carter, Brunson, and Graham, I truly would have taken Devontae Graham. I do like Jalen Brunson as well, but I think that for what Phoenix needs, I would have taken Devontae Graham all day, every day, knowing that he was on the board. It is the funniest thing, and Phoenix is going to suffer because of it. And it's going to be one of those major things that they're going to suffer about for years. Because I'm not saying Devin doesn't need the ball. I'm saying that if you're going to give Devin the ball, then why did you grab a point guard to make it like, oh yeah, we're basically going to give Devin the ball and not grab a shooter? If you were going to do that, then looking at who was on the board still, you could have went another direction and said, okay, Melvin Frazier was still on the board. Bruce Brown from Miami was still on the board. Justin Jackson from Maryland was still on the board. You could have had, two Jacksons on the team. You had Keita Bates-Diop. You had so many good players on the board that you could have traded back and grabbed somebody. You could have done what you needed to do, but they felt, oh, well, this is what we want to do. And this is, again, another reason why Ryan McDonough is not the answer in Phoenix. But I'm the guy who doesn't have a job because I know how to build a team. So it is what it is. Now, let's get to number 3 on the list. Another Philly mistake this year. Another Phoenix mistake. I apologize. Another Phoenix mistake, which is also a Philly mistake as well. Now, this is the Zhaire Smith, Mikal Bridges swap. So, Phoenix decides, oh, we're going to give up Zhaire Smith and that 2021 Miami pick that was unprotected, knowing that there's a lot of good kids coming out that year that could have been studly. And instead, we'll give it up for Mikal Bridges, the hometown kid in Philly, but we'll still take him. Knowing that had you simply traded up a little bit, You could have got something better than Zaire Smith. Even if you kept Zaire Smith, you still made the wrong choice. Now, going to the Philly side of this. Philly had Mikal Bridges. That was the perfect pick for them. He slots in at the 2. He works perfect. It's going to do well. He's going to be that off-ball type of player. He's going to work well alongside, even though they have Landry Shamet, he's still going to work this and that. But, long story short, you trade away Mikal Bridges. Granted, yes, you got the 2021 Miami pick that everyone has oh so coveted. My goodness. But you get a player who we know isn't that good, and who we knew was going to blow his knee out 20 seconds in. Because this is what happens with Philly. You grab a guy who you think is going to be something, and he blows his knee out. Or he hurts himself. Or he forgets how to play. Ha 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 ha. Now, the other weird thing about this is Mikal Bridges' mom works for Philly. So they take him and go, oh, we get your mom works here, but we gotta trade you. Business is business. So his mom is now in a weird spot. Let's just say that. Anyway, moving on to the second worst pick of the 2018 draft. Now, this pick is from the LA Clippers, and that pick is Jerome Robinson. So you're telling me that Jerome Robinson is better than Aaron Holiday, than Chandler Hutchison, Dante DiVincenzo, Lonnie Walker. He's better than Miles Bridges. He's even better than Michael Porter Jr. Doubtful. And this is why Doc needs to be gone 2 years ago. This is why Doc needs to be gone 2 years, 3-4 years ago at this point. Doc should never have come here. He should have never gone to the Clippers and screwed them up like he did. Because had it have been planned a different way, long term, he could have had so much more and so much of a better shot. But instead he grabs Jerome Robinson from Boston College, who I didn't even have in the top 20 on my mock draft, but whatever, this is Doc for you. Anyway, so, long story short, you grab Jerome Robinson and get all, oh, we're going to go younger, we're going to do what we have to do. Whatever. Doc made the mistake, and don't put I don't put this on Jerry West. I think Jerry West was just like, I think he wanted to go a different direction. I doubt this is Jerry West's idea. Now, number 1 on the list of worst picks of 2018. Another LA Clippers mistake. You draft Miles Bridges and you trade him for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, I'm combining. I haven't said who I would have taken with number 2 because of this reason. Because if I have 12 and 13 picks, 12 and picks 13, knowing who was on the board, knowing who was still in play, I never would have taken Miles Bridges and go, oh, we'll trade Miles Bridges. We'll trade him and we'll do what needs to be done. Oh, and not only that, we'll hand them 2 second-round picks. What were you thinking? If it was me, instead of Jerome Robinson, I would have said Lonnie Walker or Kevin Huerter. Instead of Shai, I would have taken Michael Porter Jr. and I would have let him rest, let him recuperate, let him get better, let him relax, tell my trainers to just work on him every second or every day, let him focus, let him take his time. Whenever he's ready, he's ready. But that is that. This is the decision that the Clippers made. They now have to live with it. And they're now going to be irrelevant for who knows how long until they decide to hire somebody who can do the job. Anyway, those are the top 5 worst picks. Now, we're going to go to the 5 best picks of the 2018 draft. Now, starting with 5. Number 5, Kevin Huerter by Atlanta. Now, Atlanta they had some very good picks. I felt Trae Young should have stayed, but I like what they did in picking up Trae, because they also picked up Jeremy Lin and a few others to take the pressure off of Trae of, we're going to let them start a little bit, we're going to let them train you up a little bit, even though it's Jeremy Lin. I didn't realize he was a molding type of point guard, but whatever. The fact is, they're doing this, it seems, to be like, okay, they're going to start, you take your time, you work your way up, and we'll get to you later. But bringing on Kevin Huerter and a few others, it works just so perfectly for them. Number 4, Chandler Hutchison. That pick by Chicago was probably one of the best I've seen. They knew that they needed a shooting guard or small forward, and they grabbed both in one guy. He could play both spots, and he is a big kid too. He is 6'7". He can play the game very, very well. And they are taking their time. I mean, I wish that they would have had a better earlier pick. I mean, I like that they grabbed Carter, but it's just, I wish that they would have, been able to have a third pick or something, or a better pick in the second round and grab somebody better, grabbed a point of some sort to really help with what they're doing. But it is what it is. But I like that they picked up Hutchison, because he is now the next step to getting better and better and better. Number 3, Kevin Knox from the New York Knicks. I think that this pick is going to be one of the best, especially because, as I said in a previous video, with the whole Kawhi and Kyrie and Jimmy Butler considering a team up and the Knicks are on the list, if you fit Kevin Knox and Kristaps Porzingis into that idea, you have yourself a team that no one is going to stop. And Kevin Knox is a very talented kid. He played his heart out last year. Now on to the number 2 pick. The number 2 best pick. Charlotte decides, we're going to take and trade a player, and we're going to, in return, not only get some draft picks, we're going to get Miles Bridges. I love that idea. Miles Bridges, that's a way to start a rebuild. To know that even though Kemba's most likely on his way out, we have Miles Bridges, we rebuild from the ground up with Miles Bridges, and we make it now possibly his team. Love that idea. It is perfect. The number 1 best pick, in my opinion, Aaron Holiday to Indiana. Indiana was just a point guard away from having a very, very deep playoff run. And now I'm officially saying it right now, that now that they added Aaron Holiday, and you guys can hold me to it if you want to. You guys can hold me to this. Since Cleveland is out of the picture, I believe that we will now have Indiana and Toronto in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, I know what you're saying. But what about Boston? What about Washington? What about that? Here's the thing. Washington will, I think, make it into the second round. I don't see them getting out of the second round unless they make another trade. If they can get somebody else, then yeah, I see them getting by. But I don't see them doing that. Boston, I think they're going to have a lot of issues in the beginning. Kyrie going, but what about me? Gordon Hayward, but what about me? It's going to be a lot of back and forth, and And we know Gordon Hayward's kind of realizing, oh shit, I shouldn't have left. I should have just stayed with Utah. Looking at what Utah did, looking at what they built and how far they went in the playoffs last year. You know Gordon Hayward's going, all right. I should not have left. But it is what it is. But Aaron Holiday is going to help Oladipo and Miles Turner and Thad Young. He's going to help this team get them to where they need to be, and he is the man to do it. So I'm calling it Indiana, Toronto, Eastern Conference Finals. Last team standing. And that probably will go 7 games too. And that's going to be a battle of a series. They're going to battle it out. It's going to be a fucking war. Now, let's get on to the steals. The 5 steals from the 2018 draft. Starting with number 5. Jalen Brunson, Dallas. Now, here's my thing. I think that with Dallas grabbing another point guard, it makes sense. It takes the pressure off of Dennis Smith, and it gives you the ability of maybe even putting Jalen Brunson in there out as well as that 2 guard once in a while. Not every time, but when you need a couple extra shooters out there, when you need somebody, when you need somebody for other spots as well. But I think Jalen Brunson will be great, especially to run that second unit. It'll be perfect. Number 4 steal, Vince Edwards. Now, when Houston traded with Utah for Vince Edwards, it was great because Houston now realizes we don't need Trevor Ariza. And I kind of had a feeling when July 1st came around that they were not going to bring back Trevor Ariza because they knew how much it was going to cost. But Vince Edwards is basically Trevor Ariza. So, why not? Number 3, Brooklyn pick, Rodions Kurucs. Hope I said his name right, but I really, it's YouTube. Who cares at this point? Whatever. But he is going to do something incredible. I wish that the Knicks would have scooped him up because it would have been great to have him playing alongside Porzingis just to see if it would have worked well as well as they played overseas and things like that. But I'm glad that the Knicks grabbed him because now you have that way of saying, okay, we're going to we already know our rebuild plans, so let's start with a late second round pick who was basically a steal, which I like. I think he's going to do very, very well. I think he's going to be that kind of, he's going to be that player that we don't see coming. He's going to be kind of like, I want to say kind of like a Dirk, but more like to me, he's going to be more like a Ginobili, but better. And he's a bigger kid too, so he's going to play, a different position. But he reminds me of like a Ginobili, where he's going to come out, do what needs to be done, and go sit his ass back down. Number 2, Devontae Graham. Charlotte made some great trades. They made some great trades, some great picks. And I know what you're saying. Oh, yeah, it's because of their new GM. At this point, it doesn't matter. But they made some reasonable picks. They gave up a bit much, if you ask me, for Devontae Graham. I mean, I would have given up 1 second rounder. Well, I wouldn't have given up the 2019 second rounder that they gave up, but they did give up, something. But I do think Devontae Graham, they could have traded up earlier, maybe. It is what it is. But I think he was a great pickup, especially to be alongside Miles Bridges. It's going to work fairly well. The number 1 choice that I have for steal pick of the 2018 draft is Keita Bates-Diop. This kid I had marked for the Minnesota pick at 20. This kid falls to the mid 40s. He falls to 48 exactly. So this kid is easily a top 20 pick. He is easily a first round choice, and he falls to 48. I give Tom Thibodeau that credit this offseason. I give him the credit for that because that choice was the best choice he has made in the last couple of years, and it is perfect. But that is my time, guys. I hope you liked all 15 picks. If you don't agree, tell me. If you had any other worst choices, best choices, steals, leave a comment down below. Hit the like if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe, everybody, and I'll see you guys on the next video.